Oh, hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to Transformation Talk with Teri on a Tuesday. I'm going to give it a few moments and see if I've got people jumping on here. And I may not even be live on Facebook yet. So give it just, okay, I am. I have two people on already. Hello and welcome. Welcome to all that are coming on. Hi, Gerald Ann. Thank you for being here, honey. Hi, Molly Berger. Just looking to see who's coming in. And as you come in, have you with us today. All right. Well, I think I pushed some buttons when I said I'm going to be talking about anger today because I've got a few people that have messaged me and said they really need this. So obviously, there's a lot to be looked at with anger, with that emotion. Hi, Robert Dosa. So while we're waiting for you all to share this out and waiting for more people to come in, hi, Robin. I want to tell you another example of how thoughts are manifesting so quickly in our lives right now. And oh my goodness, we got more people jumping in. My darling Astrid, hi, honey. And Michael and Catherine Warren are on. Hello, Mohammed. Hello and welcome to all of you. So, here's an example of how thoughts are manifesting so quickly. I had to go somewhere today in all my running around and doing errands, and it was someplace I had never been before. It was one of the malls here where I live in Fort Lauderdale. If you're not familiar with Fort Lauderdale, it's kind of a big city. And I was going to a mall that has 3 stories. I had never been in it before, so I wasn't even sure where the entrance was, but I did find the parking and I found my way inside the mall. Now I'm standing there in the mall and I'm thinking, good golly, this place is huge. It's got 3 stories. There's there's a map. So I'm standing there looking at this map, and in my head, I'm thinking, I wish I could just put my finger on it and just go there. I wish that I knew exactly where, the steps to take to get there. Well, I had just thought that. I'd been standing there maybe about a minute and a half, looking and seeing, all the different levels and where everything was. And this guy comes up. I guess it's one of the security guys in the mall, comes up on his little scooter thing and asks if he can help. And I'm like, yeah. So it's like, immediate now. We think something and watch out, because if you're thinking the wrong thing, that's what you're going to manifest. If you're putting out there the energy of what you need and what you want and positive thoughts, that's what you're going to manifest. Things are happening so quickly. The energy has shifted and changed. So when we're talking about things, especially like emotions, like anger, some of those really potent emotions, it's important to pay attention to what our thoughts are. So, anybody here that's had to deal with anger? Let's see some hands. I want hands. I want hearts. I want all that good stuff because I like seeing it. So, if you've had to deal with anger, maybe you still are dealing with anger. We're going to take a look at that today. So, I'm going to tell you another story. And all I have to go on is me. I can only come from my experience and pull from that. And then we can work together at looking at all these parts of what's happening. Hi, Casey. All right. So some of you are saying, yes, you're dealing with anger. Okay. And yes, and big yeses and yeps. All righty. Okay. So let's go with it. I'm going to tell you a story. This is a true story that happened to me in my life. Now, you all know that I started my real transformation journey. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to say hi to my sister, Billy. I started my real transformation journey about, what were we in? We're going into August, about 4, almost 5 months ago, where I just decided I'm done with living the way I'm living, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and I started changing things, changing diet, changing my thoughts, changing my emotions. So about a year ago, so this was before all of this happened, I made a purchase. It was kind of a big purchase. And I got approved for the financing. So I went ahead and ordered the item. And then it was going to be taken out of my bank account every month. And that was cool. I was prepared for that. But then there was another thing they took out of my bank account. And so when I questioned it, it was like, oh, that's a deposit we require. And I'm like, well, nobody told me about that. I was irritated. Okay. So it's like, well, you didn't read the fine print. All right. So there you are. I can only be irritated with myself. I didn't read all the fine print. So they told me the deposit would come back to me after I paid this off. All right. So March of this year, I paid it off. It came out of my bank account every week. And then finally, I paid it off a little early. And then I sent an email, a nice little email. And I said, okay, you said I'd get my deposit back after I paid the account off. So I'm ready for it. When will I get it? Happy smile. And I got the answer back that I wasn't looking for. It's going to take 60 to 90 days to get the deposit back after everything clears and we report it to the credit bureau, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, nobody told me that. Read your fine print. Okay. So again, irritation, frustration, but I couldn't totally blame them. All right. Michael says I'm frozen. Hopefully y'all are still seeing me. On my phone, I still see me. So Michael, maybe you need to refresh. Okay, so 60 to 90 days. Now I paid it off in March. So I'm thinking, okay, March, April, May, maybe June, I'll have my money back. June comes and goes. Nope, didn't have the deposit. And at this point, it wasn't that, it wasn't even a lot of money, and it wasn't even the money. Now it's the principle of the matter, right? So here I am, irritated. It's been 90 days. I don't have this refund back yet. So another email, and now I'm really starting to let my frustration come out. And I'm going, okay, guys, it's been 90 days. Can you tell me when to expect this? So the answer comes back. By our calculations, you'll get it in July. Okay, well, now that's a little bit more than 90 days. That's more like 120 days. So, the irritation's rising. I'm getting a little more angry. So then July comes and is almost gone. So last week I decided to look at my options. And I said, okay, since I can only deal with these people through email, there's no phone number you can call them. Let me Google and see if I can get any information, maybe a phone number, an address, something that's going to help me. So I Google the company, and sure enough, I find the director's name of the company. And then I find that he's on LinkedIn. Cool. So I go onto LinkedIn since I'm on there, and I sent him a pretty nice message, but a very stern message. I'm like, look, I'm fed up, okay? And here's the situation, and what can you do to help me? Well, don't you know, about 2 days later, I get an email from the finance company. We're processing your check. I'm like, okay, cool. But why did I have to get to that point, before this happened? So let's break this down. Let's look at it. So the first thing, I was irritated. Anybody ever been irritated before? Irritation. There's a lot of things that can cause us to be irritated. We expect something to happen in a certain way. I had expectations of what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. All of a sudden, there was something different thrown into the mix. So things that come at us unexpectedly, or maybe somebody does something or says something, all right, that might cause us to be a little irritated. So what can we do? We can deal with it right then. We can deal with the irritation when that comes up. Now, if we stew on it and just let it keep festering in there, and then maybe something else along the same line or something different even happens, that irritation is going to start to grow, and it's going to come out in a different way, isn't it? It's going to really start to become now something that's mounting, and we're going to feel it inside of our stomach. It's going to feel kind of yucky. So we've moved from irritation and frustration to that point of, okay, this really doesn't feel good. I'm thinking this might be anger. I think I'm getting mad here. So then something else might happen. And like my story progressed, it just kept building because there was no resolution. And then all of a sudden, there's that anger. And if we don't deal with it, then it can turn into rage, which is like the highest point of the anger. So the important thing is to look at it, acknowledge it. I've been saying this from day one, whatever we're dealing with. Okay, we've talked about quite a few things now on this show. The important thing is to acknowledge it, acknowledge its existence. If you're dealing with anger right now, at this moment, then acknowledge that. Tell yourself, yes, I have this irritation or frustration or anger, whatever it is that's there, I have it. So acknowledging it is huge. That's a huge part of it. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a moment. We've got people that have jumped in, and hello and welcome, and Lillian is one of them. And hi, darling. Today you're irritated, shocked, and sad. Okay, well, I hope you're going to hang in with us, Lily, and we'll see what we can do to bring some light on all of that, okay? And Robert Dosa, lack of money brings a lot of irritation. Yes, it does. And you have irritation now and need to release it. Good. We're going to be doing some release, Robert. All right. And then Maria, heck yeah. Last Friday, there were 3 attempts for unauthorized charges to my debit card, but the bank sent me a text. Wonderful. I'm so glad they were looking out for you. You're the second person in 2 days that has told me a story about unauthorized charges and somebody fraudulently using their information. So thank you, Maria, and I'm so glad you were protected. Archangel Michael was looking out for you, wasn't he? All right. So we got some people with some irritation, got some people with some frustrations. And so let's look at that. And what can we do? What can we do? Like I said, the number one is to acknowledge it. I'm feeling this. Sometimes we might not even know why we're angry. Ever had that? Anybody out there ever just felt angry, but you don't really know why? You don't know what's going on inside to bring up that emotion? I've been there before. Yeah, I'll hold my hand up. Yes, I've done that. So we acknowledge it, and then we look at our options. What are our options? What's my options in this situation? I'm angry about something. Maybe you're angry about somebody or at somebody. Maybe you're angry at yourself or angry at a situation. Look at what is going on as you're feeling this emotion of anger. Now, some of you have told what your source of your anger is, like, lack of money, somebody trying to use fraud against you. And Lily, darling, I understand your sadness and the people that have been treating you badly. I understand that. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't get angry. Please don't take my words or what I'm saying to mean that. Anger has its place. It definitely has its place. Just like we can't get rid of ego, and we don't want to get rid of ego. It's there for a purpose. Our emotions are there for a purpose as well. Now, what we need to look at is it my anger? Is it my anger? Or am I taking on somebody else's emotions? Am I getting angry because something happened to somebody else? There's such a thing as righteous indignation, right? We can be mad and angry about situations that happen. We had nothing to do with it. We had no control over it. But if I hear about, say, an animal being abused or a person being abused, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit angry about that, even though it's not mine. But I always have to look, is that my anger? Or is this something else totally different? Maybe it pushed a button about abuse, or it pushed a button about lack. So look at, what are you really dealing with? Is it yours? Is it your anger? Or are you taking on other people's emotions? So acknowledging it, looking for options, and then questioning, is it mine? Is it mine? So I'm going to give you a few things here that may help to diffuse the situation if you find yourself in anger. Take what resonates with you, take what helps, and leave the rest. I always say, I put stuff out there if it can help you. Wonderful, great, powerful stuff. If it just totally doesn't resonate with you and it's not something that you think you will use, that's okay. Hopefully there's somebody that will use it. So what can we do when we find ourselves angry? Anybody have an answer to that question? Start putting them in the comments. Let's hear what you do. How do you handle your anger? And then I'll start talking about some of the tips, some things that might help to diffuse the anger. And hi, Margaret Ellen. All right. So the number one, and you probably heard this one your whole life. I know I have. The number one, count to 10, right? The old tried, true, trusted one. Count to 10. And there's a reason for doing that. There's a reason that you want to, it's not the counting. That's not a magical thing. There's nothing magic about it. When you do that, you're giving yourself time. You're saying, okay, I'm going to slow down here. I'm going to let my blood pressure come back down because maybe it's through the roof, okay? So counting to 10, all that's doing is just pausing. You're just pausing for a moment. Number two, forgive. Forgive. Do I really want to hold on to this anger? Do I really want to hold this inside of me? Because what happens when we hold a low vibration energy inside of us? What do you think happens? It turns into something else. A lot of times it turns into physical symptoms. When we hold the low vibration, especially anger, anger is just so destructive if we hold on to it. It turns into physical manifestations like aches and pains and sadness. Yeah, we go into a deeper depression. Anger eats you up, right, Deb? Exactly. So you find yourself in that really bad place that you don't want to be, where you're hurting. You're hurting now emotionally, mentally, physically. Okay? So forgiveness, using Ho'oponopono especially, that's an old Hawaiian tradition, and maybe we'll do a show on forgiveness and just really talk about how to bring that energy in to help you. Number three, step away. Step away from the anger. Step away from the situation. Maybe you're in a conversation with somebody and it turns a little bit intense. Step away. You're not running away. You're just removing yourself from that intensity until you can count to 10, until you can calm yourself down before you deal with it. You can even use something to distract yourself to really bring that energy back down again. Breathe. All right. Many of you are following my shows every day, and I've taught you how to do the heart-brain cohesion, where you connect your heart with your brain up in your head. The heart has a brain also. So using that technique of breathing in through your heart and then just letting it go up to your brain, it will absolutely calm you immediately. So breathing, not just deep breathing, but really breathing in through the heart and holding some gratitude in there. I know when you're angry, it's so hard to say, oh, I'm so grateful, but absolutely get into an essence of gratitude. Hi, Gina Marie. Okay, we've already said acknowledging is the first step. Acknowledge your anger. Acknowledge this is what's going on. This is what I'm feeling. This is real. All right, we're talking about real stuff here. The next one, write about it. Write about it. You know, I'm the kind of person that my anger makes me cry. If I get mad enough, I just start crying. And I don't know why. That's been that way my whole life. I can't talk about it without crying. So writing it down, writing it out is so beneficial. And that's what I use. I write about it. I express everything on paper of how I'm feeling and what's going on. So writing it is one way of letting it out of you and not holding it inside. Something else you can do is move, exercise, walk, go for a walk, and don't walk and stomp and be inside your head with all the anger, but walk and start to let yourself get calmed down to where you can see the emotion clearly and see what the situation is and what you're dealing with clearly. The next one is to practice compassion. Practice compassion. What does that mean? What does it mean? When you practice compassion, you do something for somebody else. You see somebody that's in need, maybe somebody else that has had something happen to them, and you either show them compassion with a hug or with your energy or doing something nice for them and giving them, whatever you can that would help raise their vibration. So practice some compassion. That's going to get you out of your own head and out of that space that you're in of anger. One thing that's important to not do when you're in the midst of your anger, don't send out emails or text, okay? Because that just adds to it. It's so difficult when you get a text or an email from somebody to really see what they're feeling inside. And especially if it's sent in that midst of all the angst and all of that anger. So just hold on to it until you've really looked at it and digested it, and then know your steps that you want to go forward with. Try to be grateful. Gratitude, that's going to lift you up. It's going to lift you out of that, that situation where you just can't see beyond that redness of the anger. Talk it out. Talk it out, but wait until you're calm. So if there's somebody else involved in what made you angry, that you allowed yourself to be angry about, calm down and then definitely talk it out. Don't hold it inside. Yes, Maria, never make a decision when you're angry. And then meditation and prayer. Meditation and prayer. If you're that angry, if something has really gotten to you, just pause for those few moments, breathing in love, breathing in light, going to that place where you're saying, okay, this is not me. This is not the way I want to be. I don't want to be this angry person. Let me find some peace. Let me find some calm. Let me get back to my happy place. And meditation will always take you back to that place if you allow it. So those are some of the suggestions. I want to hear from you. We've got a few minutes, so let's hear in the feedback. What do you think of those suggestions? Or is it something that will be helpful for you? And then I'll give you the gizmo of the day, okay? And let's, right now, while we do have a few moments, I've gone through these things that you can do and not do. So let's take a few moments to just learn what it feels like to let go. So let's say you're dealing with something and you still have that anger inside, or you have the helplessness feeling inside, or you have the sadness that's a result of what made you angry in the first place. All right, so think about that. Think about that. And Lillian, I want you to especially do this. So if there's anger there, some anger you're still holding inside, I want you to take a deep breath in. I want you to put your hand on your heart. And I want you to slow your breathing down. Slow your breathing down. Breathe in to a count of 5. Hold it. And then release it slowly to a count of 5. And then let's do it again. This time, I want you to breathe in gratitude. Think of something you're grateful for. I'm grateful that I'm here with all of you today. So with that breath, that slow breath, focus on how grateful you are for the beauty in your life, the things, the people in your life. Hold that feeling of gratitude in your heart. And then pause and keep it there. And then release it slowly. And let's do it one more time. Breathe in, and this time really feel that gratitude or that care, that compassion, that love that you're feeling for someone or something in your life. Hold it there in your heart, and then release. Are you starting to feel a little bit of relaxation? Your body's starting to just tone down a little bit and calm down a little bit? If you'll do that for 3 minutes, just sit quietly for 3 minutes, breathing in love, gratitude, care, compassion. Breathing in slowly, holding, and then exhaling slowly and holding. This will bring you to that calm place. It brings you to a gamma state in your brain, and you're able then to really focus on what's going on. You're able to see things in a more clear light. Maybe this was something, your anger was something that you had no control over. This is something I've heard from many people in the last few days. There's something you had no control over, but it upset you because it affected you in a certain way. So if you can take that time, just 3 minutes, to just sit with your breathing, and then you can examine your options. Then you can start to work through whatever the situation was. If you need to talk it out with somebody, if you need to write it down, you'll be able to see it more clearly than you could if you're blinded by all of that emotion. So I appreciate those of you that are saying this was helpful to you. That's what I really wanted to do today, is give you something that's going to help. Every day I try to give you a gizmo. A gizmo is something that you can collect. We're collecting a basket full of gizmos, and a gizmo is a tool. It's something that you can take and use in your own life. The gizmo today, I want you, whenever you start to feel the irritation or the frustration, or maybe you've already gone into anger to that state, or the sadness, just stop for a moment. Stop and pause and say, I am in control of my life, including my emotions. I am in control of my life, including my emotions. Remember, one of the first things we did, the first time that we came together on the show, I gave you some things that you can use every day, some little affirmations and sayings. And one of those is that nobody outside of you controls you. So today's gizmo, we're going to turn that into, I am in control of my life, including my emotions. So hold on to that gizmo. Put that one in your basket, bringing up every time that you need to be reminded of it. Bring it up. If you need to write it on your bathroom mirror, if you need to write it out and post it all around you in your space where you're going to be seeing it constantly, then please do so. Whatever it takes to help you to deal with all of these things that you're going through. We're all transforming. We are all changing. I'm not the same person I was even yesterday. But, it's a daily progress. We're all works in progress. And we're doing this together. That's the beauty of it. You're not alone. We're all gathering together to encourage each other, to lift each other up. I want to congratulate you, Robert Dosa, because I saw your comment earlier that you're writing your book, and I'm so pleased to hear that. I know Margaret Ellen has already published a book. I'm so proud of her. Margaret Ellen, I hope you're still watching, honey. I'm so proud of you. And I want to send out a happy anniversary to Gerald Ann. Today is her 8th wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary, Gerald Ann. And I want to send out blessings for safe travels to the family of Astrid, my dear friend. She came on here, and I know they're traveling back to their home country of Holland today. And it was such a pleasure meeting that family and spending time with them and being in that magnificent energy. So, anybody else that has special days today or special accomplishments that's going on in your life, congratulations, happy birthdays, happy anniversaries, whatever is going on with you. I just really send blessings for happiness and joy and want to celebrate with you. I want us all to celebrate together every day when we come on here. Let's lift each other up. Let's give each other the hugs. Give yourself a hug right now and feel it as I send the hug out to all of you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I ask you to please share this broadcast. Even on the replay, someone can take the message and take the information and find it useful in their life. So if you know people that may be dealing with anger or transformations or whatever it may be, then send this to them. Let them know that every day we come together. And there's my gizmo. He's saying goodbye to all of you. And remember, this is only a half-hour show. I'm keeping my promise to that. And so it's a half hour of your time during the day to come on and be uplifted. And if there's other things you want to talk about, things you want to discuss, let me know. Send me a message or put it in the comments. I'll read all the comments after the show. So let me know what it is that you want to talk about. And if you want to come on with me and talk, then let's do that. And I want to read Maria's comment. I also use the phrase that I have in a plate. Lord, help me remember that nothing will happen to me that you and I can't handle together. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Maria. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. Bye, everybody.